Hello everybody, welcome to the I Am IT Geek YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz and as ever, I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to, this is probably the third episode this week. And this is again, continuing on that story of my sort of big announcement that I made last week around the fact that I'm emigrating to Australia. I have been headhunted, I was headhunted about a year ago, and everything kind of ticked, all the boxes were ticked. And I thought, why not? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And here we are. So in episode one, I kind of give you an overview of the kind of visa I went for, and spoke a little bit about Concept Australia, who were the company that helped me through my visa application. So massive shout out to them, specifically Philippa and Jane, who've been so instrumental in me getting this far. And then last episode, I went in a bit more detail about my skills application. So the first part of the employer nomination scheme is you need to do a skills assessment because part of it is a skilled workers visa. So I had to essentially prove that I was skilled enough to do the job that I was being sponsored for, and that including getting reference letters from my last two employers before Net Company, Concord Technology Group and AHR or slash IDAS that they were at the time. And I also had to show proof of payment. So, obviously in their reference letter, they had to specify what my annual salary was in my different roles. And I had to basically show proof of that. So there's different options I had. You had to two types of proof. Either you could do your salary slip, wage slip. You could do your bank statements highlighting where the payment was on every month. And then also you could do, HMRC employment history kind of letter as well, or even like your P60s and your P45s. That was all the relevant information was on there as well. So I didn't have any of those. So I had a combination of for IDAS. I showed the HMRC letter and also my bank statements. And this is the bank statements for the entire duration I was there. So I was there for 6 years, going back almost 15 years. And then for Concord, they were kind enough to give me all my pay slips or a copy of them, and then I also showed my bank statements again for that time, all highlighting. So there's a lot of work needed, and then again I had to this like passport, driving license. Also, I had to show my my degree because again you need to show that you qualify. You've got the qualifications. And it's only specific qualifications that count. Vendor qualifications like Microsoft ones or AWS, they don't count. So I had to show proof of my degree. So mine was a computing degree, which is a relevant degree to the skill that I was going for, skill visa that I'm going for. So I had to get into Bradford Uni, get my transcript and my certificate. So skills applications in, comes back 12 weeks later, approved, wicked, happy days, getting closer, things are starting to move a bit quicker. And the next phase was, I'm just going to quickly share my screen. The next part was the gathering the rest of my documents. So I've gathered the identity documents. I've done the I've done the skills and qualification documents and all those. I've shown proof of my skills and qualification. It kind of explains how you do that. I'm not exempt from it. Luckily, I'm not quite 45, but again, for this visa, 45 or older, you need to provide documents to show that you are exempt from the age eligibility criteria. So luckily I'm 39. I know, I don't look a day over 20. So that doesn't comply to me. And again, because I've done, I'm a British citizen, I'm born here, I've got my English language GCSEs and whatnot, and a degree. That box was ticked. The next thing essentially was my family visas. This is for my kids and my wife. Now, obviously, there's different things you need for children compared to adults. For children, just need to show passports, need to show birth certificates. But for me and my wife, we had to get character documents. These basically we had to basically show a list of countries that we'd visited in the last 10 years, I think. If I'm not mistaken. So again, that's what it would be on holiday, business or pleasure, essentially, doesn't matter. So yeah, in the last 12 months, so less than 12 months or in the last 10 years, yeah. So we had to show, going back 10 years where we'd visited. So both me and my wife, we had to, so that was part of our application. We had to show utility bills with both our names on or individual, showing our address. Marriage certificate. So I got actually married in Pakistan. So my actual, so I've got a translation of my marriage certificate, and I've got the actual original in Urdu. So I had to send both or a copy of both. And then we had to do criminal record checks. This one was fun for both me and my wife. So it's going to make a joke about my wife coming back as a criminal, but she wasn't. She had a clean slate. So that came back pretty quickly. The family application was a lot easier. Even though there's a lot of things to get, I found it a lot easier. There's only a few things I had to sort out. One of them being the criminal record, because obviously I had to apply for that. Again, that's like a cost of that. That costs like 50 quid or something like that each. But all the sort of stuff like bank statements I had all the utility bills, I had the marriage certificate, I had all the birth certificates. So that wasn't a problem. That was quite straightforward. So once that was all kind of done and completed, again, I sent that to Concept Australia, and then they uploaded that to the AMI website, immigration website, and then that was essentially the full application complete. Again, that's where I had to make that big sort of 5k payment for that. I think the skills application had a charge for about 500 quid, I think. So already it's quite racking up. I will break down my costs in a later video for you to show kind of how much the full process, how much that's cost. It's aged me about 10 years, so I don't know how much you can put a price on that, but so once those were done, we then had to get health checks done. So if I hide this, there's a health checks part somewhere. True skills exemption, don't want exemption, hide that. Health document. So this is where you basically have to get in touch with, I have it on this website. You have to get in touch with a private sort of healthcare facility. So you can't get it done from your GP. There's only selected ones in the UK as well. Let me see if I can find it. Do a quick search. Australian visa health check UK. So let's look here. There's a list of sort of places you can go. The closest I could actually find was in Manchester. It was mad. That's not the right place. Let's have a look on here. Yeah, this is probably the right place now. So yeah, basically you look for the whole list of. So we were outside. Yeah. So this is a physician that's kind of registered for immigration purposes. So the first thing is go for the country. I can show you specifically the ones that I used. Well, there's only one choice, it's in Manchester. Panel position. Yeah, so as you can see, Knightsbridge in London. There was Northern Visa Medicals in Manchester, Bryden Medical, Edinburgh Clinic, Nuffield Health, Plymouth, Bridge Clinic, and those are the ones in the UK you can use. So we ended up going to Northern Visa Medicals just because that was the closest place to us. I won't go into London and I won't go into Plymouth. And although I do love Edinburgh, I wasn't going to go to Edinburgh either. And again, this shows you where you can get your police checks done from as well. So you have to email acro.policecertificates.acro.pnn.police.uk. So I had to email them, tell them what I wanted. They sent me details, application form, I had to fill that out, pay it. That came back. So we booked our appointment for Nuffield, and again, luckily I got a cancellation the week after I called them, and we went for our medicals. So for children, they only have to have, so children under 12, I think it is, or 11, they have to have just a normal health check, which is, checking your glands, checking your heart rate, stuff like that. That was my son. For over 11, so for example 12, my daughter's 12-year-old, she had to have a health check and then a chest scan done. And then me and my wife, we had to have a health check, chest scan, blood test, which was testing for some sort of kidney issue, TB, and HIV. And then, yeah, so we had to have those three things. So that was actually just a couple of weeks ago, just under 2 weeks ago we had that, because it's the middle of the week, so next week will be 2 weeks. And again, there's a cost to that as well, and it's, again, for adults it's about 350 quid, for children it's about 100 quid each, so again, that added up to quite a bit, just over £1,000, close to £1,000. But it's a private medical facility as well, so they're registered with the Australian Immigration to do those things, and they know the whole process. They send it off to the immigration because obviously they know your application number and stuff like that, and they have all the details. They send it across. If there's any problems, they get in contact with you, and then that's kind of how that goes. So that's kind of the final sort of hoop we've had to jump through at the moment, as far as the visa application goes. That's kind of where we're at. We've done, I have condensed the last year into like a couple of episodes, but we are at the stage where I've done the skills application. I've got my sponsor. My sponsor's got their application approved. I've got my skills visa. Done the family application, and we've done we've done the health checks. So again, another short episode. Don't want to do too much. I want to kind of make it short and sweet. I've mentioned in the first announcement that I made that we are actually taking a cat. So what I'm going to do is, on the next episode, I'm going to show you what you need to do when it comes to actually taking an animal, because the Australian agricultural sort of stuff is so tight. I mean, really tight in a good way. Because I think you need to, maybe the UK could learn a few things from them. But yeah, that'll be the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. Still got quite a few topics I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about the house hunting that we're doing, how we, whereabouts we're going to live and how I came about that, that whole piece, and then I'll kind of show you some of the houses that we've been looking at. I hope you're enjoying the content. Please do leave me a comment, or if you have any questions, of course, hammer me some questions. I've got loads of links in my description to the different things I'm talking about. So thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.